the Fantasy Football Fanatics podcast with your hosts Griffin Palmer, CJ Hickman, Jason Cabrera, and Ryan Mitchell.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is the Fantasy Football Fanatics podcast, the official podcast of the fantasyfootballfanatics.com. I'm your host, Griffin Palmer, joined by absolutely no one. It's a one-man show tonight, and that is absolutely fine. Today, we're just going to have some fun with it. You know, we had a whole show planned out. We're going to do running back, backfields to avoid. I know we all have different takes on things, which is why I've made the decision that we're going to push that till Friday's show, hopefully get both the guys back. So until then, we're going to do something that is often requested. No matter how many mock drafts we do, it seems like you guys can't get enough of them. So we're going to jump right in there. We're going to do another half point per reception mock draft. That's the norm. That's what all of you guys out there, you fanatics, all of yous, that's what you love. That's what you're always asking for more of. So dang it, that's what I'm going to do. Before we get to that, though, we have a little bit of bookkeeping. Make sure you guys subscribe wherever you are listening. We greatly appreciate the support, guys. Things are heating up. We're finally getting started into the through the off season, into draft season. So if you guys could really, wherever you're listening, subscribe, give us a rating, please give us a review. Helps us out a ton. It will help us grow during these key growing months for the whole industry. Really helps separate us from the pack, and that'll allow us to keep doing what we're doing. If you'd like to go even further and really support us, head over to patreon.com/thefantasyfootballfanatics. Get yourselves a bunch of bonus perks over there, and that really helps us keep these lights on. Make sure you guys send your questions in as well if you have any. We're on Twitter at the FF Fanatics. You can send them to us on Facebook at facebook.com/thefantasyfootballfanatics, where you can email them to us at thefantasyfootballfanatics@gmail.com. We're really all over the place. We even started an Instagram. Haven't posted anything to it because I don't know what we're supposed to be posting for Instagram for fantasy football. I guess memes, but we'll get there. One step at a time. We're focused on the fantasy, so that's what we're doing. So yeah, and I guess with that, let's get to some things that are actually worth talking about before we get into the draft. I know, teaser there. So we'll start with some top headlines from around the league. So our top thing we have to talk about is the NFL Top 100, numbers 40 through 31. That happened again. Popularity contest. Put no stock into it, but I'm just going to give you guys the rundown. If you don't really care, just fast forward about 2-3 minutes into the show. Number 40, Tyreek Hill, wide receiver, Kansas City Chiefs, 36 a year ago. Not surprising, had a great year maintaining that position. Tyron Smith, tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, unrated a year ago, had a great year. Not surprised to see this. Number 38, Jared Goff, making the list in a big way. Obviously unrated a year ago, had a terrible year in 2016. 2017, not too bad. Rams were pretty darn good. And now he comes in at number 38, quarterback for the Rams. I almost put Chargers. Whoops. That would have been dumb of me to say. Next guy, though, is from the Chargers. Number 37, Joey Bosa, defensive end for the Chargers. He was number 100 a year ago. Disruptive force at the line. Number 36, Adam Thielen, wide receiver, Minnesota. I feel like Adam Thielen's still not getting the respect he deserves. I see him slipping in drafts, and I mean, if he keeps slipping in drafts, I'm all for it, because that means I can pick him up later, and that's very exciting to me. Number 35, AJ Bouye, cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was unrated a year ago. Monster corner. The fact that he was unrated before this is really, to me, quite the oversight. That's insane. Number 34, DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end for Dallas. Again, a really good defensive lineman, disruptive at the line, great run stuffer, unrated a year ago. Number 33, Kareem Hunt, running back, Kansas City Chiefs, breakout year, unrated a year ago, coming in at 33. That's a great spot to jump in. Number 32, Jadeveon Clowney, former number 1 overall pick, defensive end for Houston, and still improving. Last year, 49th, this year, 32, so he keeps getting better. He's climbing up these boards. And number 31, a perennially overlooked quarterback for fantasy football purposes, a guy who solidifies why you can wait on quarterback like I preach day in and day out. Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Detroit Lions, number 31 a year ago, finished number 31 this year. That is consistency, folks. That's what that is. Generally, as long as things play out the way they normally do throughout a season, he'll finish as a number 1 quarterback. So, you can get him pretty late. That's exciting to me. Some headlines worth talking about as well, and some quarterback news. Now, Adam Vinatieri, in a recent interview, he was discussing Indianapolis Colts quarterback Andrew Luck, and he said, quote, "We will see him. I really don't have a doubt," end quote. Now, of course, this could be off-season talk, tropes, narratives. Could be just, he doesn't know anything. He's just talking to talk, because it was an interview. But it's positive news, and that's what we're looking for, because right now it's just a whole shroud of misdirection. So we're really doing our best to try and pick these little bits of information as we go, and really trying to then try and piece those together. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And in this case, the opposite, trying to make sure that there's not a fire or a bad situation. We're hearing good reports about Andrew Luck. The big negative that he's not throwing yet, which I kind of think trumps everything, but we'll see how that plays out. But this is a vote for confidence in Andrew Luck, and because of this Andrew Luck uncertainty, he's slipping, T.Y. Hilton's slipping, a lot of the Colts receivers are slipping, and offensive playmakers, and hey, if Andrew Luck ends up coming back, they automatically get a massive boost in their potential and production, so, I mean, hey, this could work in your favor for drafts if you buy into Andrew Luck coming back. If not, you might get burned, and that's... If you're drafting now, which you shouldn't be, that's a risk you're just going to have to take. And then in some wide receiver news, and this is... I don't know how true it is, but this was from a source. Unrestricted free agent wide receiver, God, I can't even type. Wide receiver Dez Bryant, he said, he reported, oh my God, I cannot. Unrestricted free agent wide receiver Dez Bryant is reportedly expecting to remain a free agent until the start of training camp. Barring an injury at his position, quote, he has received plenty of interest, but he is being patient and selective, end quote. I don't know how much interest he's getting. I'm sure he's generating, like, some attention. I think teams are reaching out and putting out feelers, but no team, I think, is willing to pay him what he's looking for. He wants a big boy, one-year deal so he can bet on himself and get a bigger deal down the line. He hasn't had a very good showing the last 2 to 3 years. No team wants to invest that in them. The only team that was willing to really give him that shot, the Baltimore Ravens, they wanted to give him a 3-year deal, which would have helped spread his cap hit out, which they needed anyway. Most teams need to spread that out as it is right now because they're at that point of the offseason. He's not going to get the contract he's looking for, and I think he's still kind of playing this, I've got a phone call over here, are you sure? He's trying to levy things that aren't really there to try and boost his value, is what it looks like from the outside looking in. I know a lot of analysts are thinking that's what's going on. I'm kind of in that camp because I feel like if there was a team that really wanted Dez Bryant, he would be signed by now. I mean, a big red zone threat, and clearly Dak Prescott and him never really got on the same page. With Tony Romo, he was a monster. With a really good red zone quarterback, I mean, he's not going to Green Bay, but with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's just an amazing 1-2 punch. I think he could be a monster there. Most likely for fantasy and real life, he's going to end up being a number 2 somewhere, which is fine because that still gives you touchdown upside, but we'll see how it shakes out. Right now, it's all misdirection, it's all news, and everything else that's in the news right now is people saying, oh yeah, no, I'm not at OTAs because they're optional, I'll be at the mandatory mini camps, things of that nature. That's really the extent of what there really is to report. We could go into all that other stuff, but it wouldn't be super exciting. So with that, I guess let's get right to it. Let's get into our mock draft. Now, we're doing a half point per reception mock draft. And what we're doing here, I randomly selected, and I got the number, where did I get? The number 4 spot. So in this draft, it's a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex, kicker, defense, 6 bench. Now, with the first 4 picks, or 3 picks, Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, all off the board, that makes my pick pretty darn easy. Let me hide drafted players. So that leaves me, according to the top rankings on this site, David Johnson, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley. I really like Saquon, but I'm not taking him this early. The obvious pick for me is David Johnson, and that's who I'm going to grab. And now I've got a locked and loaded running back. There's so much narrative surrounding David Johnson right now that he is this injury-prone guy because in his last 2 starts, he's gotten hurt. But realistically, it was 2 different injuries. It was a crazy tackle on his leg. It was lower body, yes, but he was fine. And then it was a wrist injury. And by all accounts, if he hadn't been put on injury reserve, he would have been fine to return about 6 weeks in. But because they put him on short-term IR, by the time he was eligible to return, there was just no point. He's fine. He's young. He's explosive. He's a monster. He's facing a huge workload. Take him early, guys. You will not regret it. So behind him, Antonio Brown, Alvin Kamara, Leonard Fournette, DeAndre Hopkins, Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr., Kareem Hunt, and Michael Thomas are the top of in the first round. Top of the second, AJ Green, Jerick McKinnon. Holy crap, Jerick McKinnon. There's a lot of people with faith in them. Holy crap. All right, so I'm just not among them because I've seen him with the workload before. Great system, great fit. I'll let someone else take that shot. Julio Jones right behind him at the 3rd spot. Number 4, Keenan Allen. Dalvin Cook. I was hoping he would slip. Melvin Gordon. Man, Melvin Gordon fell in this draft. Devonta Freeman and Mike Evans. Now, this is a half point per reception league, so I feel confident that there's a lot of depth at wide receiver here, so I don't feel forced to lean that way. What I'm really feeling is I could probably get another pass-catching running back with a lot of upside, and that could really kind of catapult me forward. The guy I'm looking at right now, so what's on the board? So you guys are kind of seeing what I'm seeing. LaShawn McCoy, don't want anything to do with Buffalo. Jordan Howard, not a pass-catching back. Christian McCaffrey, I don't know how much of a full workload he's going to get. Joe Mixon. Now, if I don't pick Joe Mixon here, there are 6 picks ahead of me, and every team that has to pick has already taken a running back. So I might take that gamble. I might go for a top wide receiver right here. So I'm looking at Devontae Adams, which, I mean, a massive workload. He could be a great pick for me. Don't want anything to do with Doug Baldwin. Tyreek Hill, I like. Adam Thielen, I like. T.Y. Hilton is a gamble. Those are the kind of the guys I'm looking at right now. You know what? I'm going to risk it. If Joe Mixon makes it back to me, I'm going to be ecstatic. So I'm going to try and lock down a big wide receiver, and I'm going to go with what we think is going to be the #1 target in Green Bay, and he has been a double-digit touchdown guy the last couple years. Aaron Rodgers back. I'm going to grab Devontae Adams here. I don't know if I would normally do this. I don't have my rankings in front of me per se, like how, because I'm working on statting out guys. So it's not just, I mean, obviously every analyst does their own thing. The other guys on the show, they do a lot of gut feelings. They look at the matchups, the lineups, the rosters. I break it down statistically, as you all know if you've been with us for any period of time. So I don't know if Devontae Adams is actually my highest rated guy currently because I made a lot of tweaks to my roster within the last week or so. But I'm gonna draft him and see how I like my team, and that's why you mock draft, so you can see how things work out and you learn. If you're not mock drafting, you're not trying. And now he is on my team. Tyreek Hill. Oh, no. Why? All right, so Tyreek Hill was drafted next. Rob Gronkowski, who was another guy I was thinking about. If he made it to me in the 3rd, which I didn't expect, I was going to grab him, which he's saying he'll be back for mini camps. LaShawn McCoy, end of the 2nd. Top of the 3rd, first pick, Joe Mixon. Oh, you play with fire, you get burned sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Doug Baldwin, Jordan Howard. So now I'm sitting here, and it's a half point per reception league. There's a lot of running backs that I really like in the next tier, but none of them that I think are worth a 3rd round pick per se, because there's a lot of question marks here. Christian McCaffrey is just a guy that I don't think is going to have the full workload there. I mean, in a full point per reception league, I think he's definitely worth a 3rd round pick. I know there are analysts out there that are saying he's worth a 2nd rounder. I just don't know if I believe it. Kenyon Drake's a guy that I want to believe in, but bringing in Frank Gore, we don't know how that's going to work out. Miami is one of those backfields that is very polarizing to people. Derrick Henry, we don't know what the split's going to be with Dion Lewis. Jay Ajayi might be a full workhorse in Philly, but we don't know. Alex Collins, we'll have to see. So I'm going to pivot, and because this is a half point per reception league, I'm going to grab another wide receiver, then I'm going to just go heavy at running back when it comes back around to me and hope some of these talented guys are still there. There's plenty of guys that I still like, so I'm going to grab Adam Thielen here. I think that gives me an awesome 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position, and let's see what makes it back. This is fun. This is why we mock. Travis Kelce went next. T.Y. Hilton, Kenyon Drake, Zach Ertz, Aaron Rodgers, first quarterback with the 9th pick in the 3rd round. Christian McCaffrey went. Deshaun Watson. Man, he's still going early. And Brandon Cooks at the end of the 3rd. Top of the 4th, Derrick Henry, Rashad Penny, Alex Collins, Demaryius Thomas, Larry Fitzgerald, Allen Robinson, Alshon Jeffrey, and Mark Ingram. So, I mean, here I am. I am back. I'm at a short turn. I have 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and then I start getting into my flex. So I'm definitely looking at running back now. Jay Ajayi is here. I'm expecting him to be much more of a workhorse this year. Darius Geis is there. Lamar Miller's there. Ronald Jones II, who I expect to be the full-time back in Tampa Bay when it's all said and done, is there. Royce Freeman, a guy I think is going to be a workhorse there. There's plenty of depth here, and even more so at the wide receiver. So, you know, I'm going to grab Jay Ajayi here. He's just in a great system and opportunity. I know he burned a lot of people, so he might slip further than this in your drafts in the future. There's just question marks around the next handful of guys, so I'm going to grab him. He's my number 2 running back. I'm going to grab a 3rd to kind of shore that up. So let's see. DJ Moore, Josh Gordon, Amari Cooper round out the 4th. Top of the 5th, Stephon Diggs. Ronald Jones did go. Dang, I was going to try and grab him. Russell Wilson. So let me grab a 2nd running back here. Well, he'll be my 3rd. And then, well, there is some good wide receiver depth. You know what? No, I'm going to stick with my guns here. I'm between Darius Geis, who I expect to be the workhorse at the very least, first, second down back in Washington. And Royce Freeman, who could win that job in Denver. Fifth round, I can start getting a little bit tricky. I'm worried that Denver's going to be kind of a 1-2 punch, though, where Darius Geis I know is going to be the first, second down, and probably red zone guy. So you know what? I'm going to grab him. Yeah, you know what? I like that. I am drafting Darius Geis. He's going to be my bench, my flex running back right now. So he's on my team. Michael Crabtree, Tom Brady, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marvin Jones, Sony Michel, Jarvis Landry, Julian Edelman, and Carlos Hyde all were drafted. Top of the 6, Greg Olsen, Golden Tate, Drew Brees, Randall Cobb, Royce Freeman did go. Dang it, he almost made it back. Cam Newton, Robert Woods, and Dion Lewis. So now I've got 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Let's see what's available. Lamar Miller's still out there, which I feel like is an obvious choice, especially in any sort of points per reception league. So I might end up taking him. This is my short turn. And then I will be set with 4 really good interchangeable running backs. And then I can just start grabbing a bunch of wide receivers. There's so many wide receivers I like that are still out there. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy in. Yep, no, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to give Lamar Miller benefit of the doubt. With a good offense, he's going to be better this year. And if not, he's my 4th running back. So what's the problem? He's going to be catching probably the most balls in Houston. So yeah, why not? 4th running back. Let's see how it plays out. Rex Burkhead did go next. I was kind of leaning that way too. Carlos Hyde and Carson Wentz. 7th round, Marquise Goodwin, Ben Roethlisberger, and Evan Ingram. So now I'm sitting in the 7th round. You guys know me. I'm very much wait on quarterback, wait on tight end. I'm staring at Jimmy Graham right now, who I expect to be just a monster. The problem is that I have Davante Adams, and I don't like drafting tight ends this early. So if I buy into Jimmy Graham, then I'm pulling away from Davante Adams. And I know you can make the argument, well, they're going to throw touchdowns in Green Bay, but you don't want to have a whole team as your offense because you want to hope that your guy gets the production. If I was to get Randall Cobb, Davante Adams, Jimmy Graham all out there, yeah, I get touchdowns, but my ceiling would plummet. My floor would go up. My ceiling would be very low. So I'm going to swerve away. I'm going to stick with my original plan here. I'm going to look wide receiver. And there's a guy staring me in the face that I expect to still get a massive workload, especially in a points per reception league, even though half point. And that's Pierre Garçon right now. I don't know what to expect out of Sammy Watkins. Devin Funches, I'm not a huge believer. And I know, okay, that's not true. I am a believer, but I'm not a believer in the Carolina Panthers passing game. So behind him, question marks in Corey Davis, Emmanuel Sanders. Cooper Kupp would be great in a full point per reception, but this is half. So I'm going to go Pierre Garçon because I think Pierre Garçon has the best range of outcomes here. So Pierre Garçon on my team. Matthew Stafford went, oh wow, Matthew Stafford went a lot earlier than I thought he would go. Most mocks, he goes in double digits. Jameson Crowder, Sammy Watkins, Kirk Cousins, Kenny Stills, Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant moved up to the 7th round. He was a 15th round pick in our last mock draft, so I guess people are starting to think he will get drafted, and they just want a piece of him. Jimmy Graham went, and then Jared Goff, top of the 8th. Duke Johnson, dang it, Devontae Parker went. He's been getting all these positive narratives. He put in offseason work. I like what I'm hearing. He's worth a stash. Oh, well. Let's see. Marshawn Lynch want nothing to do with that because now there's all this narrative saying he might not win the starting job. Marlon Mack want nothing to do with that. I don't trust the Indianapolis Colts running game, especially without Andrew Luck. Corey Davis, Cooper Kupp did go, and then C.J. Anderson. So, we're back. I have 3 receivers, 4 running backs. Can go either way. This is a half point per reception league, which makes it a little bit interesting. It's the 8th round. So I'm looking at guys like Tevin Coleman, Chris Thompson, which would be a handcuff for Darius Geis. He's a home run hitter. I don't like the opportunity. That's interesting to me. So some of the top guys on the board are both Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. Now, this is something we're going to talk about on Friday's show. I am recommending to avoid the Green Bay backfield. If you followed the show at all, Jason and I are big believers in Jamal Williams, but a lot of the narrative is leaning Aaron Jones' way. Ty Montgomery is there as well. So there's this whole nobody actually knows what's going to happen at this point in June. So if you're drafting right now, I'm taking the approach I'm going to let the first guy go. I'm going to grab the next guy later on so I can get him at a better value. Hope for the best. If not, I'll add, drop, or trade him. So I'm going to hold off and hope that one of these guys get picked, and then maybe swing around and grab the other guy with my next pick. Kerryon Johnson's there. I expect him to be the workhorse in Detroit. I know a lot of people aren't big believers in the Detroit offensive line. They did upgrade it, but it's still a work in progress. Detroit hasn't run the ball successfully in a long time, but they're trying, and I think he's going to get the majority of the workload. I could also go wide receiver here. There's some serious upside. Will Fuller, home run hitter, doesn't do much good in PPR. Emmanuel Sanders, injury risk. Robbie Anderson, I don't know if he's going to miss time. Jordy Nelson in Oakland. I don't like in Oakland. Sterling Shepard's been getting a lot of talk up, and in the 8th round, I'm going to grab him because they're going to use him more in the red zone as well, outside. And Odell Beckham's going to draw coverage away from him. Why not? Let's take a shot. Let's see. Michael Gallup went. Jamal Williams did go. Tevin Coleman, Kyle Rudolph, Will Fuller, Jordy Nelson. So now my decision has been made for me. I can either go Kerryon Johnson or I can go Aaron Jones. You know what? I want to go Aaron Jones here because there's been so much narrative saying that he's going to be the lead guy probably about halfway through the season. But since I'm such a believer in Jamal Williams, I'm going to go Kerryon. I just... The upside's there. The floor is higher, I think. The ceiling is about the same. He's on my team. I've got Kerryon, so he's my 5th running back. So now we're getting into the double-digit rounds, and now I feel it's appropriate to start thinking about getting quarterbacks and tight ends. Deonta Foreman did go next in the 9th round. If he's not healthy, my Lamar Miller. My Lamar Miller pick's starting to look a lot better. The expectation is he's not going to be a full go at the beginning of the year, and even if he's able to play, he's not going to be 100%, which is why I really like the Lamar Miller pick, especially with Deshaun Watson being healthy. Let's see. Behind him, Nelson Aguilar, Robbie Anderson, Isaiah Crowell, Delaney Walker, Chris Thompson, Emmanuel Sanders, Chris Carson. They round out the 9th. Top of the 10th. Samaje Perine, that's a wasted pick. Nick Chubb, he got drafted. Tyreek Cohen, Theo Riddick, Rashard Matthews, Jordan Reed, Aaron Jones almost made it all the way back to me again. That would have been arguably worth being my 6th and final running back. The upside there. But there's a lot of other guys with upside that I can pick later on. Bilal Powell. So, 10th round. Still need a kicker defense. So, really, I have 2 bench spots to pick. And then I've got 4 spots that are already given to me. I need kicker, defense, tight end, quarterback. So, what's out there? This is my short turnaround. So, there's a lot of quarterbacks I like. I could wait on that. There's a couple tight ends that I really like. Let's see. They've got nothing that excites me too much at running back. It's a lot of upside and later picks that could be exciting in later double digits. Wide receivers, it's kind of the same. You know what? I'm going to grab my tight end because that's a much thinner position. Quarterback's much easier to stream. I'm going to grab Trey Burton here. I really like Trey Burton's upside. I think he's going to have a great season. His opportunity is undeniable, and he's on my team, and I'm going to grab a quarterback with my next come-around, and I think I know where I'm leaning. Peyton Barber, Devontae Booker, Christian Kirk, all were drafted, top of the 11th, Marquise Lee, Matt Breida, and Josh Doxson. So I'm staring at Jimmy Garoppolo, Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck. Also, Jameis Winston and Matt Ryan. So, for me, this is easy. It comes down between Phillip Rivers, who is a perennial #1 quarterback. The loss of Hunter Henry sucks. Make no mistake, it sucks. But they're going to bring in somebody. It may be Antonio Gates. They might have someone step up. They might not, and they might just have 2 blocking tight ends that are going to help keep him upright and let his 4 really, really good wide receivers go out there, run patterns, let plays develop, and he's going to dink and dunk and throw to his big body receivers in the red zone and score a lot of touchdowns. Phillip Rivers, always a #1 quarterback, and he's a locked and loaded guy. I mean, it's so deep at the position, I'm comfortable not even drafting a quarterback here, because if you've been with the show for any period of time, I stream the position anyway. The last 2 years, if you've been following us, this is not even news to you then, but the last 2 years, if you followed, because during the season, we do waiver wire ad drops, we give you recommended streaming quarterbacks. If you followed our streaming recommendations, you had the potential of having the #1 quarterback each of the last 2 years. That's how easy it is to stream the position. There's 32 teams in the league. At the end of the year, there's usually over 40 quarterbacks who put up a week-winning top 5, top 6 performance. So that's why I say it's just not worth it. But for the sake of the more casual listener right now who may not, I don't want to make you guys think that you have to do that, because you don't. That's my draft philosophy. It is definitely more advanced for the sake of you guys, and I know a lot of you will have drafted quarterbacks already, but I'm sure by the 11th round you're losing your mind over not having a quarterback. I'm the only team that doesn't have one, so theoretically I could wait forever. If this was an expert league, I could wait until probably my last pick to get a quarterback, because most experts will not draft bench quarterbacks. Most experts fall with my line of thinking around the industry. But this is automated. For that reason, I'm expecting backups to go. For the sake of the casual listener, I'm going to draft a quarterback. I can roll the dice with Andrew Luck, but I'm not going to recommend you guys do that unless you're comfortable streaming. So the more sure thing is Phillip Rivers. So for the sake of this mock, I'm going to draft Phillip Rivers. He is now on my team. And now the long run. Kelvin Benjamin, Mike Williams, there's one of his wide receivers. Giovanni Bernard, Jarvis Allen, Javorius. So that's Buck Allen, by the way. Most websites will have him as Buck Allen because that's what he's known as for the Ravens. Or Javorius Buck Allen. You'll see Kenneth Dixon right behind him. So, there's 3 Baltimore running backs going right now, which is why I'm saying in the something we're going to talk about on Friday's show. Maybe stay away from my Ravens backfield. It's going to be a really frustrating committee to buy into. Deshaun Jackson, Martavis Bryant, D.D. Westbrook all went back in the 11th. Top of the 12th, the Jacksonville Jaguars. First defense off the board. LeGarrette Blount, Jack Doyle, Tyler Lockett, Andrew Luck did go as the next quarterback. So there's that. Tyler Eifert, Doug Martin, and then Matt Ryan. So guys, I've got 2 picks left, kicker defense. Now, my choices here, I feel, are pretty obvious. I could start, because defenses already went, I could get my locked and loaded kicker defense now, which I wouldn't recommend. Get them in your last 2 rounds. But because I know what's going on around the league, I feel comfortable with grabbing 15, 16 round sleepers with upside. I could do that, get my pick of the wide receivers, of the running backs. It's my short turnaround. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to definitely probably grab Justin Tucker with one of these 2 picks. I'm going to just grab a streaming defense. There's plenty of sleepers out there that I like. So let me grab, what do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers. I need more wide receiver depth. I want another running back. I'll grab a running back with my last pick. There's plenty of upside out there. Well, actually, it's easier to fill wide receivers. All right. 6th wide receiver or 5th running back. That's kind of where I am right now. I'm looking at Allen Hurns in Dallas. He could be looking at a massive workload. Cameron Meredith in New Orleans, not so exciting. Calvin Ridley and a full point per reception would be more exciting. Ted Ginn, kind of the same situation in New Orleans. I don't know how much they're going to be throwing, and I expect, obviously, the majority of the workload to not be going their way. I think they're still going to be kind of run heavy. I still think that they're going to be pretty heavily featuring Michael Thomas. Kenny Golladay. He's right there staring me in the face. I got to do it. I got to grab Kenny Golladay. He's a sleeper mini Megatron. He's got a huge upside. I think his floor is going to be a lot higher this year, too. And I can always drop him. So, yeah, Kenny Golladay on my team. Naheem Hines, Cameron Meredith, George Kittle, top of the 13th, James White, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Dak Prescott. So backup quarterbacks are going. I've got 3 picks left. 2 of them are defense kickers, so I'm going to grab one of those. I'm going to grab Justin Tucker here, best kicker in the league, my Baltimore Ravens. You always want to get the guys that you like and you want to watch anyway. It makes it more fun that way. Oh, hell, there's a run at... There's a run at defenses. That's fine. There's plenty of depth. Ty Montgomery, David Njoku really falling down boards. Latavius Murray, Corey Clement, Vance McDonald, DeMarco Murray, free agent being drafted. Interesting. So a lot of people aren't talking about the fact that he's still out there as a free agent. He's going to get signed. Ted Ginn, Marcus Mariota, 14th round. TJ Yeldon. That's a surprising pick. And then a run of defenses. Rams, Eagles, Vikings, Texans, Ravens, Chargers, and then Broncos. All were picked. So I'm going to grab one of these defenses that are remaining, and then I'm going to turn around, grab my last sleeper, and be done. So let's see. Patriots, Saints, Panthers, Steelers, Seahawks, Bears, Falcons, Chiefs, Cardinals, Giants, Packers. I'm going to grab the Saints. Unconventional pick, I know. But they've made some serious moves as of late to upgrade that unit, and if it doesn't work out, I'm going to add drop anyway. All right, Seahawks, Patriots, Chiefs went. Steven Gostkowski. It's just a whole run of kickers at this point. So I'm gonna grab my 6th running back. I like to leave with 6 running backs. There's a lot of upside here. So also, let's see, where is he? I drafted. Wait, did I draft? Oh no, I didn't draft. I thought I drafted. Did I not? Okay, well, that makes it easy. I'm going to draft Frank Gore. 15th round, perennial first-round running back, and number 1 running back, and he could assume the workload there if Kenyon Drake goes down, who I thought I had drafted, but apparently I didn't. So why not? Because behind him, I'm looking at guys like Jonathan Stewart for the Giants. He's not going to do much. Wayne Gallman for the Giants. He's not going to do much. Chris Ivory for the Bills. I want nothing to do with that. Spencer Ware, big question marks there. Amir Abdullah, he's not going to do anything, I don't think. Darren Sproles for Philly. Nah. And the list gets murkier and murkier from there. So Frank Gore's the obvious choice. So I'm going to grab him, and that's my team. So to recap, I got a B. Guys, I got a B. Oh my God, that must mean I did a terrible job. If you are ever on these mock draft clients, I can't stress this enough. We say this all the time. Just because you did not get an A or an A+ does not mean your team is garbage and you suck at drafting and that you suck at fantasy football. The opposite is true. If the only way to score a perfect A+ ranking is to do exactly whatever they say the number 1 pick is, you might as well be auto-drafting. If you get a different result, that means you've done your research and you should be getting good results because you know things. You're going against the grain here, and that's going to create opportunities for you. So to run down my team, I have, at the quarterback position, God, I really like this team. I've got Phillip Rivers. At the running back position, I have David Johnson, Jay Ajayi, I have Darius Geis, I have Lamar Miller, I have Kerryon Johnson, and I have Frank Gore. I love this team. At wide receiver, I have Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, I have Pierre Garçon, I have Sterling Shepard, I have Kenny Galladay. A lot of upside there and a lot of tradable pieces. I could easily package 2 of these guys together and get 1 guy back and get a big upgrade as well. A lot of these guys have name value. Tight end, I have Trey Burton. Kicker, defense, I have Justin Tucker. I have the Saints defense. Guys, I love my team. I would totally go into a season with this team. So I guess the only thing left to do is to leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube. Send in your thoughts on Twitter at the FF Fanatics or myself individually. I'm at GPalmerFFF. And I'm going to break this down a little bit. We'll talk about this mock probably on Patreon. But, man, hot takes. I love this team. A lot of guys that slipped, a lot of guys that went early that surprised me. Still really shocked by Jerick McKinnon going almost as a first-round pick. That's crazy to me. Melvin Gordon slipping to the middle of the 2nd. Let's see, hot takes. Deshaun Watson still going in the 3rd. That's insane to me. DJ Moore all the way up into the 4th. What is happening? Let's see, in the 5th round, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Michael Crabtree, faith in the Ravens wide receiver core. Jarvis Landry with Cleveland. Let's see. Greg Olsen in the 6th. Tight ends. Still a lot of faith in him. Dion Lewis in the 6th is kind of impressive and kind of surprising to me. Let's see. Drew Brees, Cam Newton, Carson Wentz all went in the 6th at quarterback. Let's see. Evan Ingram up in the 7th at tight end. Let's see. Dez Bryant in the 7th is still something that really stands out to me. I mean, he's going to get picked up by somebody, so I guess it's good to buy in. But that could be capital you could have spent elsewhere. Let's see. Nothing too surprising in the 8th. Maybe Jamal Williams in the 8th is surprising. 9th round. Nothing too surprising there. 10th round. Nothing too surprising there. And then we're getting into double-digit rounds, so we're getting to sleepers and upside anyway. So, yeah. All right. Just some hot takes. I'll deep dive on this more a little bit later on Patreon. That's patreon.com/thefantasyfootballfanatics. But with that, I'm out of here, guys. So I hope you guys had fun. I know I did. And we'll be back on Friday, and we'll be breaking down your running back committees to avoid. And we're not necessarily saying stay clear. But a lot of these teams, they have players that are going earlier than we think they should. And we're saying stay clear of that draft value. Because at some point, every player becomes valuable. I mean, we could be talking about any one of these guys. But if it's a starter and you're in the 14th, 15th round, grab a starter. please don't not grab a guy because we said to stay clear of that backfield. It's all within context and needs and team need and all these other things. So we'll get into that on Friday. And yeah, short show today because it's a one-man show. Not a lot of news, just a quick mock draft. Had some fun. And submit your comments. What would you have done differently? What do you think of my team? And we'll be back to talk some more fun stuff. So yeah, guys, take care. Have a great week. See you on Friday. Bye, guys.